guys, welcome to On Grade. My name is Brandon Wineline. This is episode 2. Just wanted to say thank you for the outpour of views we've gotten and the subscribers. This has been great. This has been a great start to the show. Um, this is episode 2. We're going to be interviewing a good friend of mine. We served together in the Army, and he actually just got into heavy equipment this year. And he lives over in Florida. His name's Apollo Hesser. And he just started a few months ago, but we're excited for this interview. So without further ado, let's get to it, and make sure and like and subscribe, guys. So, this is how we build this channel and bring you more and more great videos like this. So stay tuned. We're really looking forward to y'all seeing it. So without further ado, here you go. All right, good evening, everybody. This is Brandon with On Grade. I got my good friend Apollo Hesser on here. He's an equipment operator in Florida, on the south side of Florida, Lake Okeechobee. Is that how you say it?
Yeah, Okeechobee.
Okay. So let's get started. Why don't we let everybody know a little bit about you, your background, where you're from,
Okay.
what you did growing up, stuff like that.
Pretty average childhood, I guess. Grew up mostly in Montana and just outside of St. Louis, Missouri. So a little bit in the southern part of Missouri as well. We kind of moved around a lot. Um, but as a kid, you know, football, wrestling, rugby, those were my jams. Um, After high school, I joined the Army, and it's actually where I met Brandon here. I was an MP, stationed at Fort Carson, did tour in Afghanistan 2009, 2010. Meanwhile, while I was in the military, my folks and my family moved to Florida. So when it was time for me to get out, I came down here to be close to them and kind of bounced around a little bit from job to job. Ended up landing a job at a gun shop where I worked for quite a few years, doing the retail side of gun sales and stuff. A little bit of light gunsmithing, um, which was great and all, but needed a change and moved out to a really rural part of Florida and was working in a pawn shop for a little bit because I thought I was going to come out here and open a gun store. That was my original plan. And then I just got fed up with the service industry. So I started looking around for jobs, and my we got a new neighbor that moved in next door to me at the apartment I live in, and he happened to work for this construction company, and he's like, "Hey, you should apply." And so that's how I wound up at the company I'm with now.
That's awesome. So what is your biggest goals in the construction business? What are your? I know you're just kind of getting in right now at the ground
Yeah,
level. So what are
yeah.
your goals in it?
To learn as much as I can. Right now, I've only been in it 3 months now, going on 4. So I'm trying to learn everything I can. I started on the ground running a shovel, and well, not really. Mostly just spotting dump trucks because of what we're doing. It's just a lot of moving dirt from A to B.
Okay.
But so I was just spotting dump trucks or weed eating, stuff like that. And then I got linked up with the foreman I'm with now, and I don't know what he saw, but he was like, "Yeah, get up on that roller and learn it, kind of figure it out." And that was the first piece of equipment I had any time on, was a big cat roller, and got that down pretty good. And then a little bit of time on a bulldozer. That's what I really want to learn, is bulldozer. But just try to get on any equipment I can when I can. And my goals would be eventually, foreman, running my own crew, or years down the road, maybe my own company. But I don't know. Sky's kind of the limit from what I've been seeing in this industry.
There's a lot of there is a lot of potential in this industry. You can go anywhere, any direction you want. There's a lot of opportunity, whether it's going through the field all the way up to being a senior superintendent, or
Right.
eventually, doing your foreman superintendent time, working your way into the office, starting to learn estimating, project management side of the business, which we all
Right.
call in the management department, like I am now, the unsung heroes of the business. So uh, we we get all the nasty emails that you guys don't see. So oh, there's dirt
it
in the
just rolls
street, or
downhill.
So for me, the biggest thing that I'd like to ask you about is what are your what are the conditions you guys are working at down there in Florida? Is it a lot of clay? Is it a lot of shale rock? What are you guys working with? A lot of
We we excavate a lot of um, mixed material. We got a couple of mines that we get base rock and shell rock out of on the site, but
so. Can you explain
um,
to people not from Florida what shale rock is? Because I've seen it when I was working in Miami a few years ago
right.
during one of the hurricanes.
So, like I said, I'm really new to this, so if I screw something up, my bad. I'm a
I don't think
greenhorn.
anybody's going to hold it
I'm still
against you.
learning myself. I just finally started learning the different types of dirts based off of their color, so I'm getting there. But shell rock is it's a stabilized compaction material, for hardened surfaces, but it's like rock with shell in it. Is basically what it is. So you'll see a lot of like chunks of coral and actual shells in it because everything in Florida, X millions of years ago was underwater.
Right.
So um, it's a lot of there's a lot of sand everywhere. But yeah, shell rock is just what it sounds like. It's rock with shells.
Exactly. Um, and it's really cool out there. I don't know if you could explain it better, but I'll try to explain it for the viewers. There's areas in Florida when I was out there that they dug these massive pits, and it looks like you're wondering what they got. And they got these old school looking steam shovels out there that we haven't seen, especially in this part of the country, in years.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Everything out here is kind of more modernized, but they still are running a lot of the steam shovels out there. I notice especially out in the southern part of Florida with the coral and the reef and stuff. And I noticed when
Um,
we were out there, they were actually using a lot of it for the base on the bridges. When
mm-hmm.
they're building the bridges, it was pretty cool. And I noticed Florida's got some pretty damn smooth roads, so that base
Yeah.
looks like it holds up pretty good. Whereas here in Texas, we got to dig a big freaking hole, especially
Right.
where Texas is weird. Texas is one of those places where you have, depending on where you're at. So we do something here that probably one or two other places in the entire country do. So you say you got a building pad.
Right.
Literally, we'll dig that building pad out to a specific depth. We will then throw the dirt, that exact dirt we just excavated, we'll throw it
Mm-hmm.
back in the ground, moisture condition it in
Mm-hmm.
1 foot lifts, test it, then repeat the process. And then we'll put what's called select fill, which is
Right.
a clay material here in Texas. It's a orange colored clay material for a
We have the
cat.
same stuff here.
Yeah. And it's uncommon though in a lot of places, but Colorado is one of them. They're doing it now. Texas does it.
Right.
But you go down to South Texas, like Austin area, San Antonio, you might as well bust out jackhammers because you're going in a rock.
Right.
They use the miners down there, the Iron Wolves, the above ground miners they get from Germany and stuff like that. So that's part of the reason for the podcast. You being our first interview, I'm trying to learn more about I want people to learn more about our industry,
Right.
every aspect of this world and country. So,
Yeah.
you guys run probably about the same kind of equipment out there, I would assume, as us. We run a lot of scrapers, we run a lot of trucks, we run a lot of off roads,
Oh yeah. Yep.
dozers, track
Mm-hmm.
loaders, excavators. So that's
Yep.
that's our big things out there. Out here, that that's our bread and butter out here.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but you go out west. I mean, you go to California, it's all 657s. I mean, they're doing the
Right.
whole pad or whatever they're digging out pretty much with scrapers. So
Wow.
yeah. So what is how does the military how has the military helped you in your professional career so far, construction?
Um. Well. Honestly, just the discipline of the regiment. The. How am I trying to say it? You know, getting up at 5 every morning, getting ready, going to work, making sure you're there. For your morning safety meeting. That's not till 7, but I like to get there at 6:30. 6:40 at the latest. That way I can sit in my truck, listen to the news, But that's all from the army, if you're on time, you're late. So
Yeah.
15 minutes early to 15 minutes early type thing. Um, but also, I think that the army's also given me the confidence to try new things and go outside of my comfort zone. Um, but then on the other hand, it's also given me some experience that is useful, especially with what I'm doing, because MPs, we don't really drive massive, crazy vehicles, like nothing as big as an off-road dump truck like the cat I drive, but the honestly driving an MRAP isn't much different than driving that articulated truck. So they're both wide body, heavy duty vehicles. So um, I think that helped out a lot, learning the ASV, because the way the ASV turns, it turns very similar to an articulated truck. So even though the ASV isn't articulated, because the way it diverts power to the different wheels, so
So
it's
for people,
similar.
so for
So
people that have no idea what we're talking about, the ASV is. I'm
my
going to put
bad.
a picture up on the. I'm going to show a picture in the video. I'll attach
Armored
it.
security vehicle.
It's an armored security vehicle, and it's got a turret on top of it that has a 50 cal and a Mark 19 on it. And
It's
if you want to
beautiful,
spread some hate, that's the way to do it. So
right?
um, we had them in Afghanistan. They were phenomenal machines. I was a driver of one. Apollo also drove one. Um, can't
Only
be.
stateside. I never drove one overseas.
I thought you had one in Afghanistan.
No, man, I was a gunner in a mark. I was a 50 cal gunner in a MRAP over.
So what are the hardest things for you right now? You're kind of new to construction, so what are the hardest things for you right now in the construction business? Like, what are you finding difficult? Is it reading blueprints? Is it learning about tents? I know a lot of people that's a tough one because you go, well, what is this
Right,
tenth you speak of? Because it's completely different in
right,
inches and centimeters and a
right,
tenth of an inch. And then you always hear the really old school guys tell you, oh, you need to add an inch here, and you still got to bust out your tape ruler
right.
and measure it out. For you, what's been the hardest thing to learn
Well,
so
the
far?
tense thing was kind of a bit of an oddball. I was like, wait, what? There's a different unit of measurement? Really? So I had to get myself a engineer's rule and just kind of read about it online. But I personally don't deal with it that much at work every day. I think the hardest thing for me has just been learning all the terminology, um, learning what's what, and because what I do, the site I'm on, we're doing it's big, I think 35,000 square acre water management reservoir. So it's supposed to alleviate the red tide when it's all done, um, by diverting water from Okeechobee through the Caloosahatchee River to treat it before releasing it into the Gulf. So we're building the dams and the dikes, so we're moving a lot of different material, different dirt, stabilizer, embankment, topsoil, uh, probably a bunch of other stuff I'm forgetting. But so just learning the different material and its uses has been a little tricky because for someone new, well, dirt looks like dirt, you know. But some of it is just that dirt, but other of it is tested and treated and certified and very expensive. So um, you drop a load of it in the wrong place or a load of something on the wrong pile, and that's a big foobar because that's now they got to get an excavator over there to dig it out and haul it to the right place, and it can cause a lot of problems. So learning that stuff has been a little tricky, but getting the hang of it. Um, Other than that, just making. Sorry about that. Um, Other than that, just making sure I'm on the ball. Just making sure I'm paying attention to everything I'm doing and learning what I can when I can.
So, Apollo, what is the hardest thing that you're finding moving into this industry about like people training and stuff like that? Are you noticing in your company that do they have like a true training program for upcoming new operators? Do they have a pipeline system that they kind of talk to you about? Anything like that?
Um, if there is one, I'm sure there is because it's a rather large company I work for. They're one of the largest in the world. Um, I just don't know if I can say their name without violating company policies, so I'm just going to avoid that. But I know that there's a training regiment. Do I see it so much on my end? Not really. Um, but I know at like the foreman and superintendent level, yeah, there's things they got to check off on. Like when I got moved into the off road dump, I spent a whole day left seat, right seat with a guy. Um, so about half the day I was just sitting in the passenger seat and watching and learning while he was explaining everything to me. And then I drove the rest of the day, and then the next day I was in the truck by myself. And um, after about a month of that, with guidance from my foreman, giving me tips, telling me, what to do, not do, they did an evaluation, which basically they have a book or a sheet that they fill out that, did he do his pre-travel or his pre-work inspection properly? Did he, is he being safe? Is he utilizing mirrors properly? All of that stuff. Your skills with backing up, going up and down grades, how your driving is. Um, I know a lot of that goes into it. Confidence in the machine type thing. So I saw a little bit of that when they did my evaluation. But other than that, I didn't see that side of it. But I know there is a training regiment. So, like, you have to have so many hours in the machine under supervision before they can do the evaluation.
Absolutely. And that's great to hear that your company is pursuing that. So what we did with my company is initially we brought in a lot of experienced guys. And currently
Hmm.
we've actually downsized again and gone back to a lot of senior guys that I just brought in the tip of the spear guys. I don't have
Hmm.
anybody working for me right now under about 5 years. Everybody that's working for me has been doing it for a while. So all of our operators right now are what's called flex operators. I don't know if you guys call them that out in Florida, but that's a pretty common term here in Texas.
I've not
A
heard
flex
that term.
operator is a guy that can um, a flex operator is a guy that can work pretty much any piece of equipment on the job site.
Okay.
They can operate it.
Right.
I'm sure you've heard this already. There's guys that can run equipment. There's guys that can operate equipment.
Right.
So
Yeah, I've heard that.
they're guys that can. They're the guys that can. I can go out there and go, hey, jump on the excavator today because someone called in. They're going to be able to load
Right.
trucks. They're going to be able to cut to grade. They're going to haul off material and do what they got to do.
Right.
So
Right.
when as we grew before I had to downsize again, we had started a training program for guys off the street. And we
Hmm.
were finding that doing it very similarly to the military in an aspect of a checklist. So we had, okay, did you
Right.
show him how to pre-trip the truck, pre-trip the dozer? You show him all the grease points? Did you show him how to blow out the air filters? Started like basic level stuff.
Yeah.
If they were on a GPS machine, it was did they go over and verify the grade on the dozer blade on the cutting edge? Did they go measure it and put it on the stakes? Um, Making sure the antennas were working right, their monitors were working right, make sure they got a good signal, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
So what we started was with laborers that we were going to move up to operators. We started teaching them how to read plans. We started teaching them how to read stakes, tenth rulers, 10 tape measures, all that kind of stuff, lasers. Because the hardest thing in this industry is learning not the equipment, it's learning how to read grade, how to shoot grade, and making sure you're doing it once. That's the key in this business. You
Right.
don't move dirt twice. You move dirt twice, you ain't
Right.
making any money.
Right.
So that's the thing that I found so far with us was doing it that way. And it's worked really well. And I'm working on building it again for Iron Eagle, and that's why I'm kind of going around getting ideas as well for myself as other companies.
Hmm.
Um, how are you liking their program though so far? The way it's structured, the way it goes.
I'm liking it. I, I I think like anything, it's about who's training you, who's teaching you.
Right.
Um, I feel very fortunate that I landed on the crew I'm on. Um, my foreman, he's also a superintendent, has been in this industry for 30 years, worked on major projects all over the world. I mean, this guy, he knows his stuff. Um, and jump on any equipment, do anything. He knows his stuff, and he's good about building you up in the equipment too, and building up your skills and seeing, hey, all right, this guy's working his butt off. I'm gonna start teaching him stuff. Instead of just being a pair of boots standing there. So I feel fortunate that I got linked up with that type of person instead of just someone who just wants to look at the iPad and go, okay, this is what we're doing, all right, and then you know, um, not really bring people up. They expect you to already, you know. Are we still recording? I think I lost you.
I'm still here.
Okay, all right. Well, I have to edit that out. But long story short, yeah, I'm pleased with the program. Does is everything perfect? No, there's always room for improvement. But again, I'm so new to this that um, I'm still in the phase of absorbing it all. So like when I'm sitting in at first, when if I'm waiting in the line to get loaded at the excavator, I had the manual for my truck out, reading it, learning about it. So I think it takes a little bit of self motivation too. So
Um, that is for sure. You want to make sure that you take pride in your equipment because at the end of the day, I write your paycheck, and that's something that I
hmm.
preach to my guys, to my superintendents. You don't want to be the guy that's got a tractor that's covered in mud when you're sent to the next job. You don't want tracks not cleaned. You don't want you know scraped to crap, not covered with some paint. If
Right.
the counterweights on an excavator are a real good sign of a contractor. You can tell guys that take pride in their stuff. If it's all rusted to crap and scraped off, I mean everybody scrapes, but it's
Right.
when you getting ready to ship it off that you see the mechanic run out there with 2 cans of cat paint or John Deere paint and spraying the back
Right.
real quick to clean it up.
Right.
And that's something that I get on my guys about is, our equipment being parked in line, just being in a line
Oh
is
yeah.
is its reputation because people will drive by and say, "Oh wow, these guys have their stuff together."
Right.
Whereas the guys that park all discombobulated, they're the cowboy contractor, and they're the guy
Right.
that we see on YouTube that I talk about in the first video that that's great for them. I'm happy for them. I wish them nothing but success. But those guys ain't going to be doing the jobs that your company's doing, my company's doing.
Right.
And if they ever want an opportunity to do that, reflection goes according to your work, your reputation, and your word, because that's all we got in this world is our word. So
Right. Well, and
that's
and first impressions are everything. And if you drive through
absolutely.
a lot on a site and you got all the trucks online like we used to do in the army at the motor pool,
Hmm.
that looks a lot better than, like you said, having it here and there. It shows a level of professionalism
And you don't have dirt
and
piles
pride.
everywhere. You got your dirt piles, or you got your topsoil pile in a certain area. You've got it slicked off in case it rains. You look professional. Your silt fences are
Right.
up. It looks good. Your rock entrance is clean. And a
Right.
lot of guys don't care about that kind of stuff. But the contractor you're working for goes, "Wow, these guys actually give a crap." And
Right.
when they see that, they're more likely 9 times out of 10 going to bring you back because any
Sorry, I forgot
business
to mute my phone.
doesn't matter whether you're a guy that's framing houses or putting in flowers. Repeat business is the best business. So it's better
Oh
to
yeah.
deal with people you already know. So what is what is the biggest things that you're finding that you're enjoying so far about the excavation industry?
Um, for me, it's to get a little personal here. Since I got out of the military, this is the first job I've had that didn't feel like a dead end. You know, I feel like if I work hard, keep my nose clean, don't wreck my truck, don't wreck equipment, this is gonna be this is gonna be a career, and so I take pride in that, and that's something that's been rewarding on my end, both just in my day to day life and especially for my mental health. Being able to take pride in the work, and then knowing in the future I'm going to eventually fish on this reservoir, going, help build this. Um, so that aspect I really like the idea of, but um, on a day to day, it's just each day's a little different. Yeah, we're hauling dirt, but some days we may be going 60, 70 foot up on a dam, or other days I might be backing down into a hole like I was on Sunday, which I had never done before, backing down into, a hole with probably a 10% grade. And it was a little hair raising because, backing up that's probably the hardest part of driving an articulated truck, is backing the thing up.
Mm-hmm.
And especially on a grade like that, it was the first time I was a little like, whoa. um, but each day is a little bit of a new challenge, and I enjoy that. And
I've always kind of gone
it's
under
nice
the.
too.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say that I also enjoy the piece of it. It's honest, simple. I don't, not simple minded or anything, but it's just honest, simple work, and I find it very peaceful.
Absolutely. And the thing that I love about it, I've been around it now most of my life. I talked about it when we were in the military together that I'd done it before.
Yeah.
And after I got out, I got back into it and started really operating at higher levels and then became management.
Hmm.
But what I have always enjoyed about it is I could have a terrible day in the office and I'm dealing with some young project manager for some company we're working for that has never gotten dirt on his boots a day in his life. And I can go out
Right.
to the job site and switch out one of my guys, send him home for the day, pay him for the rest of the day, and load trucks. And it's the most relaxing
Right.
thing in the world for me. It's my peace. And people always ask me, like,
Right.
what's the most peaceful things for you in this world? And I'm always like, running my equipment or riding my Harleys. Those are the two things in
Yep.
this world that no matter what, I can be having a terrible day. If I'm running my equipment or riding Harleys, I'm good. And they're my
Yeah.
passions.
I agree.
And
Yeah.
if you do what you love every day, you're never working a day in your life. It is very difficult work.
Right.
There are days out there in the field. It just rained, and you got to
Oh
dry it
yeah.
up so you can run trucks. And you're a dozer hand, and you get out there and you're in knee deep mud, and the
Yep.
superintendent screaming at you like, "Hey, we got to dry this out. We got to get this water crowded. We got to run trucks tomorrow. We're 2 days behind schedule already. Time's money."
Hmm.
So,
Yeah.
the thing that I find that I love the most about the business though is the camaraderie. It's the closest thing I've found since I gotten out of the military to a brotherhood. And especially
Hmm.
here in the Metroplex, Dallas Fort Worth, I know a lot of people. I know a lot of owners. I know a lot of superintendents. I know a lot of guys. And I talk to competitors on the phone. I'm not afraid to call them. They call me. We talk. Everybody talks. I mean,
Right.
it's a small world out here. So, as big as this industry is, there's not that many. There's a lot of companies, but everybody knows everybody. So,
Right.
but what I'm looking for you, and I hope for you, is that you have really great success in your career here. I'm super excited for you. I think it's awesome that you're kind of going in the same industry I've been in for a long time, and it's great to see
Thanks.
the
Thanks, bro.
guy I went down range with doing it, which is awesome. So,
Yeah.
um,
I wish I would
I
have done it
wanted,
sooner.
well, this is one of those jobs you can do it for 30 years and start at 40 and you're still going to make a good living.
Right.
I had an off-road truck. I had an off-road driver start for us. He'd been a banker. I mean, the guy literally a year
Wow.
before was a banker. So
Yeah.
just because, you know, he's already in the office now, he's helping us in our estimating and stuff. But, we were like, hey man, you're more useful for us being here. So,
Right. Right.
um, and that's what I want to put out to people on the podcast is that, hey, just because you know, you're that new guy on the crew and you got a foreman maybe or a superintendent ain't paying much attention to you, don't take it personally. Just show them. Don't talk. These guys that come out on the
Right.
job site and they're Billy Badass operator and I can do this and I can do that. I don't care about those guys. I'd rather have a guy who goes out there, just jumps in the machine and goes to work. That's the guy I'm going to pay. That guy's going to get the job
Right.
done. So
Yep.
I tell everybody be humble. If you ain't going to be humble in this business, this thing will chew you up and spit you back out. But
Yes, sir.
that's my best advice I can give you about that is just keep your head down and do what you're told and you'll have great things happen for you. But
Yeah. Thank you.
in closing, I want to talk to you about what are some things that you're finding in construction that relate to the military besides the camaraderie? What is it? The discipline, what are you seeing?
Um. I never really thought of it that way, but the structure. I kind of think of like foreman. All right, that's my NCO.
Right.
Superintendent. That's my platoon sergeant. You know. Um. Then you have the guys over them. The site manager, the project manager. That's battalion level stuff. So the structure is nice and reminiscent, but the camaraderie is a good one. I get along with almost everyone on my crew. You're not everyone's gonna like you. You know, um, but I show up. I go to work. I'm willing to do the stuff no one else wants to do. So, like the story of how I landed in the piece of equipment I'm in, no one wanted to drive it. Because most of the other trucks we have are the Volvo 745s or whatever. Can't remember the exact model numbers, but they have the nice air ride suspension. They're like a Cadillac, going over that rough terrain. That cat doesn't have an air ride suspension. You got the air in the seat, so you're bam, boom, bam.
Yeah.
Even at 5 miles an hour, you're getting beat up in it. But I'm like, I'll drive it.
You might as well just
So
get used to putting it to the floor because you get it through faster. That's the way I looked at it when I was doing it.
exactly, that's pretty much what I do. But you got to be willing to take just like in the military. If you want to get noticed and get put in for corporal or get put in for sergeant, get put in for an early promotion in the military, you got to be willing to do the shit jobs.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
it's the same thing in the construction industry. Um, you got to be willing to do the work. If you ain't willing to do the work, no point in being there.
Yeah. I will tell you the hardest step I ever took in my career so far was the day I left the comfort of a salary job, company truck, company paid fuel, and went out on my own.
Right.
And it was 2017.
That's a big leap.
And I was
That's a
running
huge
five
leap, bro.
jobs and I had 80 guys under me. And it was like, hey, I can do this now. What's it going to be running four guys with three tractors? I'll tell you something completely different. Because at the end of the day, I didn't have a
Right.
phone to pick up and call my boss and go, hey, what should I do in this situation? So
Right.
you either learn or you die. That's how it is in this business. You either figure it out or you're not in business very long. And very fortunate, I've
Right.
had some very good mentors, and I still have a few that I talk to weekly, and they're going to be on
Right.
here eventually. And
Good.
so yeah, I really want to say thanks for coming on. I know this was been a hectic kind of setup. We're just getting going on the channel, but it's been a
Yeah.
blast talking to you, brother. I miss you. Um,
Yeah, man. Miss you too, bro. It's been good
and
catching up.
for everybody, man, check out Apollo. He's got a Facebook. If you want to just shed some love on your Facebook, any of that, Instagram, anybody wants to follow
Thanks.
you. Watch his dump truck
My
videos.
Instagram's my Instagram's public, my Facebook's private. So hit
Okay,
me up on
well,
Instagram if you want. It's Apollo Ogre.
and I'll be putting the link for that at the bottom of the video. So if you guys want to just go ahead and like and subscribe, and share this video as much as you can. We got a bunch of great stuff coming. Got some more interviews coming here in the future. So uh, that's all I got. So thanks, Apollo, for coming on.
Hey, thanks for having me on, man. Appreciate it.
Hey guys, I really hope you enjoyed that. It was a great time. We had a great time together. Talked for almost 2 hours before recording and after. So if you guys really like this, just put it in the comments. If you guys think of anybody that you would like me to try to reach out to try to interview, just let me know in the comments. This is geared as well by me as well by y'all. So just like and subscribe and tell your friends about it, and hopefully we'll be getting more subscribers. So this is a new style of show. Like we've been saying, you're not seeing the big companies. You're seeing the smaller guys. You're seeing the big guys. You're seeing everybody. This is geared for everybody. So like I said, like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next episode. Thanks, guys. See ya.